Wild times, life without Drew Brees for 6 to 8 weeks, as Dr. Cimo mentioned. And hey, we had to bring the expert opinion here. We had to bring in Boogie to weigh in on his 2 cents of life without Brees. Boogie, where's our blood pressure? How are we feeling?
Blood pressure was pretty high come Sunday afternoon. Like Ron says, I'm always preparing for the worst. So I was a little mellow when that happened, but getting a little more optimistic here.
Optimism around Bridgewater to rally the troops because, all the reports coming out of Washington right now, because the guys are all University of Washington, is, hey, we're not dejected. We're going to win it for Drew Brees. It's really a lot of optimism brewing in Washington right now because they want to get this job done. And we're not going to just lay an egg and cry over the fact that we don't have Drew Brees, and we're going to try to win now, which is a great thing to hear all the players say, especially Alvin Kamara's being really adamant about that. But are you optimistic around Bridgewater, or do you have your apprehensions?
Before, I thought it was over. After listening to Cimo, it gave me a little hope. And then after this week, hearing the players like you said, I was like, all right, we got a chance. And then you think about it. You're like, this is Peyton's chance. The offensive genius. Let's go full Ron. Bring out Teddy, bring out Taysom, and just come up with an entire offense, and let's see if we can win some games. Because, if we can't go 500, then, I think there's a little bit of an issue. But listen, I think we need to believe in Peyton. Peyton needs to come up with something where we can win some games. I'm leaning towards Hill. I think the Rons and the Terrace won Hill. I like Bridgewater, but I really didn't like Bridgewater's whole body language thing. You know what I'm talking about, Jay? Jay and I were talking about the body language earlier this week. He was, a little mellow, just sitting on the sideline, had his head down. But, maybe he was a little surprised too. Maybe he was, on Instagram all week instead of watching the film. So this week he's got a full week. Let's see what Peyton pulls out the Ron bag,
There's intrigue everywhere, and body language of Bridgewater is one of the things I'm watching for, along with what Sean Payton's game plan is. But people say, man, you're being too knee-jerk on your distaste for Bridgewater. It's not knee-jerk because we haven't seen anything from Bridgewater's been with us for a year now. It's not this new thing where, hey, he only had that little game in L.A. that he didn't play well, and he hasn't played well all offseason, all preseason. He didn't look good at the end of last year. I just don't have that optimism that he's going to get his act together now. So, as everyone already knows, I'm very much team Taysom Hill, who seems to have the grit and the leadership needed to rally the troops in this life without Brees. People might be a bit shaky right now. Like, where do we go from here? I think clickbait is a natural-born leader, whereas, as you just said, Bridgewater has bad body language, doesn't look comfortable with the ball in his hands. Taysom wants the ball in his hands, and that's the type of guy that's gonna. We don't need to go undefeated or even have a winning record without Drew Brees. We just need to stay toe-to-toe with the Falcons. And so when Drew Brees returns, hopefully, knock on wood, for that Falcons game, we're right within striking distance to take the division over.
Right.
Boogie, go ahead.
I agree with you. I agree. Listen, we just need them to be average. And just another note with Peyton. Peyton may bust out finally getting the long ball back. He may remember it was the Vikings or Philadelphia. Taysom came in and threw it deep to Ted Ginn. I think Ted Ginn's not practicing this week. But, I think Peyton needs to go full Ron. Throw it down the field. Throw some crazy pitches and let's just go. You know what I mean? Get Taysom on the field, get him involved. And we need the entire team. Jay mentioned this yesterday. Listen, everyone needs to step up a little bit. Like you see these full teams like the Eagles last year with Foles. It's like you would see their defense. You're like, man, these guys are just like a strong team. So we need everyone to just step up their game a little bit. Mike Thomas, Kamara, Cam Jordan. Need Lattimore back, baby. We need Lattimore back. And everyone just to step it up a little bit. And, hey, it may benefit us in the long run. I'm not going to be negative Nancy. I'm going to try to be positive. We may come together and then have Brees back. So this is it's huge. We need the team, and we need Peyton to lead us there. 5-year contract for, I don't know the amount, never came out, but I'm sure it's about like $9-10 million a year.
That was a question we got this last episode on the long podcast was, is this a blessing in disguise? Could Drew Brees come back stronger and that shoulder come back stronger? And then, we're kind of the underdog role where everyone's having to play up their game up without Drew Brees, and then he comes back out stronger and gives us a great home stretch through the playoffs. I like that theory. Let's see if that's true.
I would love that. I mean, how fitting would that be?
It's a great storyline.
Listen, the tombstone may be at UTO, but I mean, we don't. The tombstone can be removed.
And you said Foles. It's happened before. Foles has done it. Matt Castle's done it. Brockett did it. His first go around in Denver. Kurt Warner, of course. It's not a terminally ill season. This can be done, and it's just gonna be a lot of intrigue. This first game is a very important first step to righting the ship in the life without Brees. One last question for you, Boogie. Sheldon Rankins, I think he's ripping his bandages off, ripping his cast off, saying, "No Brees, put me in." How big of an impact would it be if he returned?
Oh, big. I mean, they're running the ball right down the middle, man. Even though our boy Dio stepped up, I mean, we need Rankins back. We just need that rotation, and we need Mario Edwards. We need all those guys to step up because that was our strong point last year, and it's a weak point this year. And that entire defensive line, it sets up the play action. Then you get the deep ball going. So I think it's pretty crucial.
All right, guys, this is just a little Boogie's 2 cents. He's all fired.
I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna pull it off. We're gonna pull it off. Somehow, some way, it's gonna be raining. 50% chance of rain. Weatherman Red came in, and he's out the country. I mean, I know it's tough, but he got the weather forecast, and we're gonna run the ball a lot.
Maybe our boy
Murray, clickbait.
Guys, I don't think our boy Boogie is listening to the episode. We got his father to do the weather report this week.
Oh, I didn't make it because it was too.
It's too long for Boogie. He's got short attention spans, but that's all right, everybody.
No, halfway through.
All right, so he called in, and we're going to have more optimism. I think that was a bit doom and gloom in the podcast because we're all feeling life without Brees, that first punch. But I think you're hearing positive reports out of Washington, and now that's transferring across all of Ron Nation, Who Dat Nation. And, hey, this is the most intrigue we've had in a regular season Saints game in a long time with questions to be answered. And I think we're all on the edge of our seats. Last remaining 2 cents from you, Boogie, before we head out.
It's Peyton time.
It's Peyton time. Let's do it. All right, you the man, Boogie.
Thank you, Georgie.
Saints fans, the whole nation. Go ahead, hit the show, baby. You know you're here for it. Why you wait? Do your dance. Hit the Sean Payton. Sean Payton. Sean Payton. Do your dance. Hit the Sean Payton. Sean Payton. Sean Payton. Saints fans, hit the Sean Payton. Black and gold, I bleed that. Another Super Bowl ring, I need that.